Hey, today, what I want to talk about in this quick, hopefully quick tutorial is the equipment that you will need if you're going to be doing podcast guesting, especially remote, where you're not going into the studio and they can provide you with the equipment. You're going to have at least a minimum of equipment that on your side as the guest. But also, if you're going to be doing live streaming, this also applies. So, I want to talk about today is the fact that you are only as good as your gear. Now, if you're new to the online business world or doing podcast guesting or remote communications, granted, we've all been doing Zoom for more than a year now, but when you're doing it casually, if it's not for recording purposes and for legacy content, which is what your podcast guesting is going to be, you're creating a piece of content that people are going to hopefully want to listen to for years. So the quality of that has to be a notch, a couple of notches up from what it is when you just attend a Zoom meeting or you do FaceTime with your friends or your mother. So one of the things that I would highly recommend that anybody consider when they're going to be doing this, the first thing is Hardwire. Most of us nowadays have Wi-Fi in our house and no longer have those cables running through, looking really ugly and snaking through our house to our computers. I do. And the reason is I do a whole lot of online stuff. I do a lot of recording. I have my own podcast, and when I record with my guests, it's really important that I'm hardwired, both for the quality of what I'm doing. But if you are the host, if you are the person running a show or a conference or anything off your machine as on your Zoom account, the quality of the signal that you have dictates the experience for everybody. So it's especially important that you as the host are hardwired. But even if you're the guest, do yourself a favor, hardwire. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that when you're using a tool like Zoom or any other streaming tool, there is a lot of drain, a lot of demand on your CPU or on your laptop, your computer. And it's having to do this, as I said the other day in a comment, it's almost like this constant calculus of where can I apportion the energy for this? Because producing the audio, especially if there's two people talking, and producing the video, your computer is having to continuously go, where do I need to cut back? Because if your computer isn't a super strong, a honking CPU like I've got on my machine, your computer is going to have to throttle back at different times. And that's going to affect the sound quality and it's going to affect the video. When you are hardwired, you are getting the best connection you possibly can. We can't make up for what you've got happening as far as the CPU, the central processing unit of your computer. But you can make a difference by just hardwiring. And you can get this for probably somewhere under $10 off Amazon, delivered to your house in a couple of days. The Cat 5 is the basic one. And I think I've got 100 feet just in case I don't want to have a problem getting it from where the router is in my house to my computer. But for most people, 50 feet is enough. Make sure, do the measurements and make sure you know what you've got, how much you need. And some people say, like, is it okay? Can I get a Cat 6 cable? Cat 6 cables are great too. In fact, they're meant for even more robust connections. Just make sure that you've got the right connector on that. And the Cat 6 cable, because it can be used for different purposes, make sure that you've got the RJ45 connectors on it. And the connectors are this part right here on the cable itself. So like I said, hardwire it. You're going to get really great sound, really great video. And if you've ever noticed when two people are talking, one person cuts out, generally speaking, it's the person with the weaker connection that's going to lose their audio in the feed. You're not going to get the two voices there. So you want to make sure that everything that you say, even if somebody's talking at the same time, everything that you say gets onto the recording. So that's the first thing. Hardwire your computer. You can even, these are not pretty. You can even just use it strictly for the event and then wind it up and tuck it in with the rest of your gear. But highly recommend hardwire. The next thing is the microphone. Your microphone in your laptop and your microphone in your earbuds are not good enough for this. They're adequate for, like I said, for having communications or being on a Zoom call. But if you're recording, you need to have a microphone that's going to be picking up your audio so that it has a level of quality that, one, your host will accept. I myself, from my show, have had to cancel recordings. And in some cases, never went back and re-recorded. So that person did not get the opportunity to be on my podcast. Probably would have done them good to be on my podcast. It would have done them good to be on any podcast. The sound just wasn't good enough. And what what you're causing them is, one, their show isn't going to be as good as maybe they want it to be, but also it's going to be causing all kinds of audio issues that they're going to have to now take the time to correct if they decide that they're even going to bother to do that. So you're putting them to a whole lot more work than they already are going to on your behalf. So make sure you show up with a decent microphone. I have got the next generation after the Blue Yeti, but the Blue Yeti, and I've got one here with me. The Blue Yeti, this one I think I bought back in 2013. This has been through thick and thin. These babies are the best bang for your buck. You'll see most people when you're seeing them streaming live or in a video, you'll often see that this is the model that they've got. The reason that this is so great is it's robust. You get fabulous sound for the price of it. These are really reasonably priced. The price has gone up a little bit since the pandemic started because there was a huge spike in the need. So, the price went up. But what's great about these is that there are actually 3 condenser capsules inside the head of this thing. So you can switch back and forth between how your mic is picking up, and you can set it to cardioid, which is what you want. The cardioid setting is only going to take it from your direction. It's not going to be taking in the sound around you in the room. It's going to pick up some extraneous noise, but you're not going, like if you're going to be doing a conversation with somebody, you'd set it to bidirectional or stereo. When you're doing recording of yourself, the Yeti lets you actually choose cardioid, and then you get this really great sound right there from the microphone. So Blue Yeti, highly recommended. And like I said, for the price that you're going to pay, best bang for the buck. The next thing is your camera. The Logitech C920X Pro HD web camera is standard. They've come out with now a 930, but the 920 is still a really great camera. It's the high def. You get the aspect ratio that you need for any application. It color balances, auto zoom, that kind of thing. It's portable. You can take it anywhere. You can hook it up anywhere. I would highly recommend that you get one of these. Somebody recently pinged me and said that it wasn't working super well with their Mac AirBook, I believe it was. And because of it being an Apple product, they had to put it through a converter. Any of your gear, your camera or your microphone should be, if possible, directly connected. These are all USB pieces of equipment, should be directly connected into your computer for best results. Because there is that extra step that it has to go through the converter, she was losing quality and it would glitch every 10 or 15 minutes. Again, what you can do, if you can't change there, compensate it with a stronger signal with your hardwiring. Because like I said, your computer's always doing the calculus of where can I spare the energy? Where do I have to pull it back? So make sure you have a really strong signal, and that should make up for that problem. Please don't depend on your laptop camera. Just saying. The next thing you're going to want to have is some kind of lighting. This is my recommendation when you're traveling. This is obviously not the optimal option. I actually have a small one that's only about, I think, 4 inches, and it clips on, and when I'm traveling and working, I can use it. But it's not the same quality as this 18-inch dimmable ring. This is, I've done the research, I've done the shopping. This is the best bang for your buck. Make sure you get the dimmable one, because apparently in the guide that I've offered to everybody, I have the link that'll take you right to the dimmable one. Apparently there is one that looks quite similar to this, but it just has a toggle switch, so it's on off. Everybody's room, everybody's complexion is different, and you're going to want to find your lighting level that's right for you. So what you want to do is set this up so that it's facing you. One of the best ways you can light yourself for any kind of live or your podcast, if it's a video podcast or streaming, is to be lit from the front, not overlit, not underlit, and nothing to do with your lighting, but make sure you're not lit from the top. That's a mistake that a lot of people make. It's not a complimentary angle. So anyways, you've got your dimmable LED ring. This one has 2 modes. You can have it kind of a yellowy orange glow, which depending on your complexion can be complimentary. Or if that's not, then you can go with more of a white. It also has a little remote on it, so you can change it while you're using it. So we've got our hardwiring, we've got our microphone, we've got our camera, we've got our lighting. One of the last things I'd suggest is earbuds. In fact, it's not a suggestion. Make sure you wear earbuds, particularly if you're not going to have the microphone that you should have. You may have noticed in some people's lives or in a group Zoom, when things are being recorded, if you're not wearing earbuds, your microphone, particularly if you're just using your laptop microphone, those are not amazing microphones. So it's not going to filter out the sound of what you're hearing. So you don't have your earbuds in, somebody's talking to you, the sound goes into the room and your microphone could be picking that up. But because there's a slight time delay, that means that there's going to be this kind of scratchy noise in the background behind what both of us are saying. So just wear your earbuds. Sure, you can see that there's like the little neck piece there, but you can hide it if you want to. One thing I learned the hard way is if you are using Bluetooth earbuds, Zoom will, in my case, for some reason, Zoom did not see them. So what happened was I recorded an entire session only to find that Zoom was picking up the audio from some other source, which meant that the person I was talking to, we didn't get to record what they said, which was pretty heartbreaking. So I would recommend, as much as it's a little bit of a pain in the ass and you can get your hand caught in the cord, make sure you have earbuds, and I would go with wired ones for that very reason. Now, all of this information, with the exception of the earbuds information, because I'm not going to make a recommendation of that, everybody's got their own choice, is all here in the 5-step guide. Oh, one other word on the earbuds. Like I said, please do not use your earbuds as your microphone. I've had situations where I've actually been interviewing somebody for the podcast who didn't know to get a decent microphone. And when you move, that your microphone is moving back and forth on your chest and on your clothing, and or you're touching it. And it's causing huge interruptions in the audio that either are going to stay there and sound really bad, or you're going to be putting the host to a lot of work trying to fix that. So like I said, all this information, with the exception of earbuds, is in the latest version of the Becoming an Amazing Podcast Guest for PR, Profit, and Social Proof 5-step guide, which I have offered in the group. Otherwise, find the link down below. So that's it for this tutorial on You're Only as Good as Your Gear. Do yourself and all the podcast hosts out there that hopefully are going to want you on their show, do everyone a favor. Make sure you have at least the minimum of gear that you're going to need. So that's all I want to say about that. If you've got any questions, drop them down below. You might have noticed I like talking about this stuff. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.